All right. This is part 3. You know, we put our minds to work on a problem. What options do young people have for having influence on the larger society? Now, looking at suggestion number, we're taking our older generation relatives into consideration, and we're questioning what we're being taught in school, whether it's true or it's just ideology. And 3, we're getting our act together. Number 4 are options for actually influencing society. Let's give that some thought. I think you have to be at least 18 to run for city council. Although I've heard of younger people. And running for Congress or the Senate is another matter. But in order to do any of that, you have to have a platform, not only of your well thought out methods. What are the methods and the means that you think society ought to follow in order to get to the solutions to society's problems, right? But also you have to have a platform of who you are. Who are you? Now, what I notice is that Ben Shapiro, who at 12 years old was a virtuoso violinist, has turned his career into a political platform. And there have been athletes who have turned their athletic career into either a newscast career or a political career. Most politicians start out as lawyers, and I think this is an error because what it means is that they presume the legitimacy and validity of the legal adversarial method of justice, which is not necessarily true. There are also non-adversarial methods of justice, mediation, arbitration, conciliation, and so forth. So having a law background it's not that it's not a good platform for legislation because you know how to write legalese bullshit, but it's not a perception set that will lead you to be part of the whole. Lawyers are not part of the whole. They're priests, and they consider themselves to be special and above everybody else as a rule. So what are some of the other platforms that young people, besides athletics and virtuoso musical careers? I think George Soros is right about something. He is funding chaos and disarray by funding non-governmental organizations that have nice names, but their names and their methods are different. All right. Having a nice sounding name as a peace group, if the method is Marxism, is a contradiction in terms. It's an oxymoron. So if you want to have an influence in public policy, it's a good idea to have a strong grasp on the difference between morality and ethics, between results, effects, and outcomes of behavior versus the more subtle effects of intention and psychological health. Okay, Jesus taught intention and psychological health, and the laws of Moses teach overt behavior. It's a good idea to have that in the background. It's also a good idea to have a sense of history in the background, but realize almost everything we're taught about history is untrue. And that's hard to, that's even hard to work with, or that's even hard to work with. So let's stay in the here and now. If you are an Eagle Scout and you lead your troop, you are in a good position to seek for more positions of leadership, okay? If you work on an EMT squad, you're part of a first responder group that connects the fires, the firehouse with the police, with the sheriff, with the hospital, okay? You're in a good position to think about what it would take to be a leader in that domain. See what I'm saying? All right. If you are a veteran, oh, veterans, oh my God, veterans. Now, we already know there are some veteran leaders, but there need to be many, 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 many more, particularly those in the countrysides that are being affected by UN Agenda 2130. Okay. Veterans were taught leadership at boot camp and in their succeeding steps in the military hierarchy. Come on, you guys. Come on, you guys. Step up to the plate. It's time for the military and police officers who know the domains of the investigators, the prosecutors, the courts, and the forensics people. See, you have to have your feet in several dimensions in order to be able to speak to the problems that legislation might be able to solve. All right? Who else? Education today, having been led by the Communist core curricula, and we have Antifa teachers teaching Marxism to our children, is not in the position to do any more leading. They've led us to enough mischief and suffering. I would like to see some accountability statute grab onto that, okay? The good old Smith Act. Why are universities and secondary ed, and why are teachers teaching Marxism, insubordination, and revolt to our children? There ought to be a law. There ought to be a law about that. All right, teachers and professors that teach Marxism are not leading us anywhere that our society wants to go. All right, so are you beginning to see? It's going to take special people. You know who's a leader is Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe is a leader in the vocational education movement to teach people the fine motor skills and the practical skills to be able to take care of our society physically and make a living at it. Okay, Mike Rowe is a leader, and he's a leader in a domain of vocational education that's really exceptional. You know, Mike Rowe started out as an opera singer. I love that guy. He is so cool. All right. So if you want to be a leader, you have to be a personality. You've got to be at least a little bit kooky, like me. And you've got to have a knowledge base behind you. So when you talk, you're not just babbling gibberish. Okay? You've got to be able to impress people with your connections to several disciplines so you can speak for a varied constituency of people, not just speaking for yourself and your own desire to become wealthy. You know, you want to have the internal connections to make money in the stock market or the gold market, those people are the ones that need to be replaced and gotten out of Congress and out of the Senate, the ones who've gotten rich being there. And so this little video is kind of an exploration into which of our young people who are every day victimized by the corporate oligarchy and its trade treaties and its lobbyists and its profiteering and its protection rackets. How do we get ourselves out of this? We need our young people to become leaders and to require that the mischief and the gaming against our populations is brought to a halt. All right, we need young people to step up to the plate and say, no, not more of any of this. We've had enough of this and we've had enough of that. And now we want to solve problems and not just throw money at problems as if throwing money at something is going to fix it. That's not how interpersonal problems get fixed. If you don't believe me, listen to Jordan Peterson. All right, this is my part 3. Who among our young people are going to step up to the plate? You? I hope so. Old people too. I'm trying to step up to the plate here. Does anybody care? I don't know. Bye.